Malaysian King Abdullah Shah has rejected Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin's proposal to declare a state of emergency in the country. Earlier, the Malaysian Prime Minister had proposed to suspend the parliament to curb the recent spike in COVID-19 infections. But this was instantly met with a massive backlash. Critics are accusing Muhyiddin of demanding a state of emergency in the shadow of mounting challenges to his leadership. Reports suggest that the Prime Minister's party will lose a looming vote in the budget early next month, which could lead to snap polls in Malaysia. So the suspension of the parliament would have helped Muhyiddin to stay in power and push through any law without a vote. Muhyiddin seized power without a vote earlier in March after a reformist government collapsed. But his administration proved to be unstable, with only a two-seat majority in the parliament. Opposition leader Anwar Ibrahim has alleged that he has the support of a majority lawmakers to topple Muhyiddin's government, but hasn't managed to secure the monarch's support thus far. Under the constitution, the king has the power to declare a state of emergency if he is of the belief that there is a grave threat to Malaysia's security. But following a meeting of Malaysia's Islamic royalty, the palace said, and I quote, that the monarch is of the view that there is no need at this moment for the king to declare a state of emergency in the country or in any part of Malaysia. Despite rejecting the Prime Minister's request, the king praised the government's handling of the outbreak and urged lawmakers to stop politicizing the issue or any issue that could destabilize the country. We are now being joined by Minderjeet Kaur, who is a senior journalist at Free Malaysia Today, and she joins us from Kuala Lumpur. Now, massive questions, isn't it, on Muhyiddin Yassin's rule. Now, questions are being raised whether he wanted to declare a state of emergency due to the power struggle that he currently faces in Malaysia, or whether it was genuinely to tackle the growing COVID-19 cases in the country. However, the king's rejection of an emergency is a setback to Yassin, isn't it?
It's widely been reported that, perhaps the Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin could handle the COVID-19 without declaring an emergency in the country. And when the proposal came up, when he went to see the king to ask to declare an emergency, there was a backlash from Malaysians, from political parties. And what we came to know that even during the cabinet meeting, there were several ministers who were feeling a bit uncomfortable with the idea of declaring an emergency. And a lot of people feel that he can handle COVID-19, which is hovering about 700 to 800 cases a day, without an emergency. We have movement control order at the moment. We have conditional movement control order, which is partial lockdown. And a lot of people felt that, there could be other ways than declaring an emergency. And of course, it's widely been reported that he is losing grip of his power. And so there have been, it's been reported that there has been several people in his party trying to push for an emergency.
Right. Right. So this is a setback for Yassin, isn't it, that the king has rejected emergency, but the king also praised, the monarch also praised the efforts of the Yassin government so far in handling the COVID-19 outbreak. But the real test for him would be on November 6th, when his government has to propose the budget, and Muhyiddin's failure to win the House's approval on the budget could be seen as a vote of no confidence in his government.
Yes. Could be. Right now, what we come to know today since morning, he has been meeting party leaders from his coalition, PAS, which is the Islamic Party, MIC, which is the Indian component party in Malaysia, and cabinet ministers. The story is that he's trying to gain support and get their views on the budget. So he is working ground up, and the ministers have so far have been mum over what has been happening or in closed doors in the meeting.
Right, one final question to you. So the big question, Minderjeet, is really whether Yassin has the support in the parliament or not, currently.
It's yet to be seen. There are questions raised. If he has the support, he might not have gone this far to declare an emergency. So that's the questions being raised.
Right.
If he has, because if he has, he would have just, allowed the parliament not to be suspended.
Right, right. Certainly we'll keep an eye out on November 6th when he has to present the budget in the parliament, and we'll see whether he has the backing of the majority of the people in the Malaysian parliament. Minderjeet Kaur, thank you so much for joining us with all the details.